There could be so many societal reasons we feel like we have to please people, particularly in a relationship, whether you're in, any sexual orientation or any kind of relationship. Okay, so we're not just speaking about heterosexual relationships here either. Often, particularly as women, but men too, in different ways, feel that it's their job to earn their partner's love,
Mm.
to earn their partner's commitment to them, that if we have to show up a certain way to make them stay, right? We have to show up a certain way and please them in this very calculated way, that if I please them, well, therefore I can, a lot of women will say, if I please them in A, B, and C way, well, then, I'm allowed to go and have alone time by myself if that's what they need, or I'm allowed to get my needs met. That's this very transactional way of seeing things, that I have to earn my value in this relationship. Now, that's not to say that, yes, you still have to show up in a relationship and really commit and put your effort into a relationship, of course. But
Mhm.
we have to sort of look at that transaction, that I have to please them, and ask yourself, if I weren't constantly pleasing them, what am I afraid will happen? Am I afraid that they'll pull away from me? Am I afraid that they'll be angry at me? Am I afraid that they'll withdraw something, withdraw love or permission or something? And so we can really look at that and see where our own anxiety and our own rules for being in a relationship is. The other piece here is, often when we're in a people pleasing pattern in our relationship, we're trying to control something that actually needs to be looked at the relationship, right? An example might be, um, let's say your partner or you disagree on something. And so you're kind of giving in for the sake of not having to have an argument and not having conflict. That's okay. We don't have to always have conflict. But if you're really giving up your own values and you're constantly putting yourself second for the sake of avoiding arguments, you're really getting in the way of actually building trust in this relationship, building a relationship that has a foundation where you both get your needs met. And so we really want to look at that sort of instinct to please, or fawn in relationship. Fawn being a safety behavior where we just try and take care of them and make them happy so that we don't have to handle our own anxiety.
Yeah, that's a really great point about that. What would you say then would be that difference between healthy compromise in a relationship and a healthy balance of let's meet each other's needs collaboratively versus when you're fawning or people pleasing and perhaps sacrificing a value of yours? Is there a way to check in on that?
Yes, it's based on the intention. A fawning behavior, a people-pleasing behavior, is often fueled by the intention of fear. You're afraid of something will happen. You're coming from a place of worry and fear that bad things will happen, or that this relationship cannot hold space for you. And it often comes where there's a repetitive nature to the fawning, and that you've done it enough times in the same area that maybe you're starting to feel resentful, you're starting to feel angry, unseen, unappreciated. So you'll start to notice these other emotions building up, and that's often when you can identify that you're fawning. Whereas compromise and meeting in the middle comes from a place of intention, of mutual respect, the genuine wish for them to have their needs met, or their genuine wish for them to be happy, but also from a place where you're also somehow meeting your own needs, or you can see the compromise on their side as well. It mightn't be even 50-50 all the time. An example might be, there are times when my husband does get his way,
Mhm.
right? But there are other times where I get my way, and that's how it's even. We're not
Mhm.
saying we have to meet in the middle 50%, that you get 50% of yours
Mhm.
and you get 50% of yours in this one instinct. It could, as long as there's somewhat of a balance. But I think it's really important to keep an eye out for, like I said, those other emotions, like resent, is a big one. Anger showing up towards your partner, a feeling of you're wanting to pull away from them because you feel hurt by them. These are often ways that we can identify that we are engaging in too much people pleasing or fawning.
Yeah. And without going on too much of a tangent here, this question just came to me, but I feel like those words of anger and resentment, those are also such big things that people might experience in a relationship. And sometimes it's subtle, like it builds up over time. And then you realize, oh, wow, like I'm really angry or resentful about this thing. But other times it's more immediate that you would notice it, I guess. But is there a first step if someone realizes they're starting to build up some resentment towards their partner? Is it about communication? Is it about like collaborating together? How do you begin unraveling some of that resentment?
Mm. From my experience, resentment is a sign. It's a flag. It's a way of identifying an unmet need. Now, again, we're going to talk about being in lanes here. So quite often, I'll tell you a personal experience here, is I have had seasons in my marriage of extreme resent, particularly around having children.
Mm.
And often when I experience resent, I would go to my partner and like lose it, right? Get so angry and be like, you're not doing this and you're not doing that. And that's okay, right? Like resent is a normal part of every relationship. It's normal. We don't need to pathologize anyone for having this emotion. It's okay to have resent. And it's okay to go to your partner and express that resent in a skillful way, but I wouldn't be doing skillful. I would go and I just lose it completely. And what I have found through a lot of therapy in this area is the sign of resentment can be a flag or a little sign that your partner needs to be doing something different. But more often than not, it was a sign that I needed to be doing something different, that I wasn't taking care of myself. It's so
Mm.
easy when we're in resent to say it's them, that they should be driving their car differently, metaphorically. They need to drive closer to me or further, and then we need to have the windows down and be talking the whole time, metaphorically. But what I really have found over and over again is when resent shows up, my first question is, what is it that I'm not tending to for me? How can I take care of myself? Going back to people pleasing, how often have I taken charge of something that I could have asked my partner to take care of? Or I could have delegated to somebody or us, gotten a resource. But instead, again, because I thought it was my job to manage my family's emotions and because I thought it was my job to make everyone happy, I just kept taking on things and taking on things and doing things and saying yes to things when I really should have been saying no. So a
Mm.
lot of times when resent, I have learned first to ask myself, what do I need? And really exploring that first.